If there's one thing Mac users want is to have things sleek and secure. They want their gadgets and all their software to just work and feel native. But when you hit public Wi-Fi or you try to stream something region locked, and suddenly you're left with buffering, blocked content, or worse, wondering if your data is actually safe, I used to think my Mac's built-in security was enough, as is. But after a lot of research, I found that even on macOS, a VPN is still non-negotiable. Okay, before I really get into this thing, I just want you guys to know that if at any point you want to check out one of these VPNs that I'm going to talk about, there are links below this video that will get you a really nice discount. Or you can just simply scan the QR code on screen. So I spent weeks trying 5 of the biggest names in VPNs on my own Mac Studio and my M3 MacBook Air: NordVPN, TotalVPN, Surfshark VPN, CyberGhost VPN, and Norton VPN. And oh boy, I was really putting them through it, editing massive video files, trying to stream specific content, the works. And what I found was pretty eye-opening. Now, my main criteria for a Mac VPN aren't just plain speeds. I need a native app that feels like it belongs on macOS. I don't want anything clunky or confusing. I tested these 5 across different networks, including my home fiber, coffee shop Wi-Fi, and even a shared network when I was visiting family. I want something extremely stable, especially when I'm uploading gigabytes of video or doing live streams. I need something that integrates well with macOS 15 Sequoia, and of course, reliable security and privacy. So first up, NordVPN. You hear about this one from everywhere, and for good reason. On Mac, their app truly feels native. It's clean, responsive, and doesn't feel like a port from another OS. I particularly liked their Nord Linux protocol because it was consistently fast on my Mac Studio, even when I was connected to servers thousands of miles away. I specifically remember trying to download a large software update while connected to a New York server instead of my usual West Coast one, and the download speed was still pushing 300 megabytes per second, which is seriously impressive for a VPN. Their MeshNet feature, which lets you securely access devices over encrypted private networks, was also a game changer for me when I needed to grab a file from my home NAS while traveling. It felt like a built-in macOS feature. However, while their threat protection feature is great for blocking ads and malware, it sometimes felt a little too aggressive with certain websites they use for work. That's why I had to go ahead and whitelist them. It's minor, but just putting it out there. If you think NordVPN is what you need, go ahead and claim 74% off plus 3 free months using the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Up next is TotalVPN. Now, this one might not be on everyone's radar if you're deep into VPN specs, but that's kind of its appeal. It's incredibly straightforward on Mac. The app is minimalist, and getting connected requires just a single click. For someone who just wants to turn on a VPN and not think about it, TotalVPN is where it's at. I tested this one on my partner's much older MacBook Air, and TotalVPN ran smoothly in the background without any noticeable performance hit. A few things I noticed are that it didn't offer the deep customization or advanced features like NordVPN, and the server selection isn't as many, but it covers the main bases for general use. Overall, it's solid for casual browsing, securing public Wi-Fi, and just getting that basic layer of encryption. You can try TotalVPN for yourself and get 80% off by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen. Okay, moving on to Surfshark VPN. Now, if you're like me and you have an entire Apple ecosystem, a MacBook, an iPhone, an iPad, maybe even an Apple TV, then Surfshark is a seriously good option. Its biggest selling point for me is the unlimited simultaneous connections. I could literally have it running on all my Apple devices at the same time without breaking the bank. The Mac app is super clean and intuitive, which is very much in line with macOS branding and aesthetics. I also found their clean web feature really effective in blocking ads, trackers, and even malware, which was a nice bonus considering I really enjoyed a smoother browsing experience without those annoying pop-ups. But even when their speeds were pretty good for general browsing and 4K streaming, I did notice a very slight dip compared to NordVPN on some distant servers during my most intensive tasks. But for the value and the ability to cover literally all your Apple devices, Surfshark does the job. Don't forget to click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen to get Surfshark for a whopping 60% off and 3 months free. Next up, we have CyberGhost VPN. Where CyberGhost really shines for Mac users, in my experience, is with its specialized servers. If you're a huge streamer like I am and you want to access specific content, CyberGhost can help you reliably access geo-restricted content on Hulu and Disney+, which can be a hit or a miss with other VPNs. I even tried a specific server optimized for ESPN Plus when I was trying to watch a game that was blacked out in my region. It worked flawlessly. The Mac app is well designed, maybe not as Mac native as Nord's, but still very user-friendly. Their large server network also means you're almost always going to find a fast, uncongested connection, which comes in really handy when you're working with time-sensitive uploads or downloads. The only thing I found was that their standard connection speeds were sometimes a little less consistent than NordVPN on my M3, but for their optimized servers, they were great. Again, if you think CyberGhost VPN is what you need, you can enjoy 84% off plus 4 months free with the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. And finally, we have Norton VPN. Now, Norton has been a name in cybersecurity for decades, and their VPN often comes bundled with their Norton 360 suite. So if you're already a Norton antivirus user on your Mac, adding their VPN is just the next best step. The Mac app is straightforward and easy to navigate, and for me, it was great for basic security. I felt confident in knowing my browsing activities were encrypted, especially when I was on public Wi-Fi, at airports, or hotels. Their kill switch also gave me some peace of mind, at least in case of data leaks if the VPN connection drops. However, Norton VPN definitely leans towards the more basic side. For example, it doesn't offer a ton of advanced customization, like split tunneling, which I sometimes use to route specific apps outside the VPN. And while it generally worked for browsing, I had mixed results trying to reliably unblock certain streaming services. I mean, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, which can be frustrating if that's something you need to do frequently. Plus, compared to some of the other VPNs I've mentioned, Norton VPN's server network isn't as extensive. But for a solid no-fuss VPN from a trusted brand, especially if you're already in the Norton ecosystem, it definitely gets the job done for everyday security. You can get Norton VPN at the best deal. I'm talking getting up to $35 off by using the link in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen. So guys, after putting all 5 through the ringer on my various devices, I can honestly say that the absolute best overall Mac VPN experience I had was with NordVPN. It's built for power users, but it's still pretty accessible and feels like a truly Mac native app. Its simplicity and a super lightweight footprint are your priority, especially on an older Mac. TotalVPN is surprisingly effective for basic protection. Also, if you're a heavy streamer or need those specialized servers for specific content, CyberGhost VPN is incredibly reliable. If you've got a house full of Apple gadgets, or you just want the incredible value that covers all your devices without paying for multiple devices, then Surfshark VPN is your guy. And finally, if you're already using Norton products and want straightforward, reliable VPN protection from a familiar brand, Norton VPN is a solid choice for basic security. All 5 are great when it comes to security, but they cater to slightly different needs. You can find direct links to each of these VPNs along with the absolute best discounts I could find down in the description below or the QR code on screen.